might be fuzzy because of it's autofocusing, so I'm not going to control that too much.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Hey, so you doing?
How are you?
Did you work way the heck over there?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. So I do know you're real.
It's weird, man. My GPS will get me within like 500 feet, but that just
I see that all the time.
so you're coming close, right?
Anybody within 300 feet of my property.
Can we get like this? Yeah, I can burn it. That's good. Yeah, oh yeah, I'd rather get some people who are actually speaking. It's not wide right now.
bring that up when you come up to speak, hand it to him, that way fine as well.
Someone is use. So it's all about the intended use. Someone is intended.
But we have.
Oh, wait.
We don't need to, this is agriculture for event venue.
But all we're doing is rate.
It's right there. He wants agriculture for that's the stated. Yeah, so not anything.
No, that's fine.
Okay, I'm gonna call the meeting to order at 6:30. If everyone would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If I can have a roll call, please.
Vern Beckwith,
Yes.
Kurt Cole,
Yes.
Judy Southworth, yes, Billy Lester,
Here.
John Spencer,
Here.
Lynn Mauer, Debbie Hemmelmore.
Here.
I need
I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda this evening.
a second, please.
I'll second.
I'll also make a motion to approve the minutes.
We gotta vote on it
Okay.
first.
Excuse me.
Getting ahead of me there, Brian.
Okay.
One thing we do need to do is amend we're in discussion now about the agenda. We need to amend the conditional use permit for Daniel and Lindsay Hammond. And I'll make my explanation, and we apologize. There was I don't wanna call it a mix-up, but the notice for a public hearing has to be put in 15 days, and it has to go into a printed news or it's circulated in some fashion, and the township office called the SITPAT, and they did not put it into the paper for like 4 or 5 days, so we missed the 15-day notification. So in order to comply with the Michigan Zoning and Enabling Act, we are not going to act upon that, so I'm going to remove that from the agenda.
That's the one on Smith Road?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
6119 Smith.
Do you think some of the reason was due to holidays?
I have no idea. I think it's because the Citizen Patriot is not a regular paper anymore. If it were a daily paper like it once was, I think we'd have had no problem.
In all fairness to Carrie, she didn't know. She put it in the 17th. It didn't get published till the 23rd.
They also, that was into the salesman, and they only publish twice a month. And so
It's
with
kind of a
putting
sign.
it in on the 17th and the Christmas holiday, people didn't get their
Sign of the
15
times,
days.
I guess, with printed news. And by the state law, like posting it on the website, any other manner, could have, on the radio, television, that's not legitimate. It has to be in printed form. So that's the reason.
They are.
So
These people are here.
I understand. We're still not going to act upon it.
So,
I know.
Vern, do you want your motion to be with the agenda as amended to remove Smith Road?
Correct.
And somebody
Okay.
needs to
And
support.
I'll
Debbie-
second.
Debbie did.
Yep. Debbie did.
Okay.
Who's
So,
second, Lynn?
Debbie did.
Okay.
Okay, so is there any other discussion on the agenda? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the same? I need an approval of the meeting minutes of December 19th, 2018.
I'll approve that.
Second.
Okay, very good. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, the same?
All right, wait a minute till this old lady catches up. Motion by Vern, who supported it?
Vern, Kurt Coulter.
Okay.
Okay, the purpose of the planning commission is to promote and protect public health, safety, and general welfare, and to protect the character and stability of different zoning areas while promoting the orderly and beneficial development of such areas in accordance with master planning guidelines. This is a recommending board. The Township Board of Trustees has final authority. Okay, I'm going to open public comment at 6:35. As I said, we are not going to act tonight on the conditional use permit. If you wish to speak for 6119 Smith Road, if you would like to speak on that matter, you're more than welcome. You can speak on anything you like, as long as you're respectful.
Here's the first person.
John Bissett, is that? John, did you want to speak? Or were you just, the one you handed to us, did you want to speak on it at public comment?
Yeah, about the Whipple Road situation.
As I said, you can speak.
No, this is Smith Road.
There's going to be, well, this is public comment, so you can speak on any matter that you'd like. We're gonna open up a public hearing for Whipple Road and Updike Dyke, and you can speak again then if you wish. If you wanna hold, that's
No, I'll say it now, because I don't get out very often.
okay. If you come to the podium, speak into the microphone, and if you'd state your name and your address.
My name is John Fassett. I live on 3900 Whipple Road.
Could you pull the microphone up so they want, I gotta make sure that they can hear you in the back.
I'm not used to people not hearing me.
It's on. It is.
Okay, can everybody hear me?
All good? Very good.
Alright, once again, John Fassett. I live at 3900 Whipple Road. I just wanna say that anything, my wife keeps contacting people with the Leoni Township Board, and they keep telling her that that gravel pit across the road is all mined out, and they're going to be out of there. She also reminded them that we've heard that they're gonna be out of there every year. Every year when we ask them, we're out of there at the end of the year. Alright, I don't know if you guys ever drive down Whipple Road where Brills Lake turns into Whipple Road, but my house is there and it has the signs thanking Lester Brothers and Leoni Township, because during the summer we can't go outside and hang out because it's a fog of dust. We can't clean our decks, we can't wash our cars, because by the next morning, they're completely covered with dust again. I've made mention of this before, and when I come to these township meetings, I get the blank looks because you guys don't care, you don't live there. When I make mention of it, I get woke up at 5:30 in the morning daily to Jake breaking trucks. The tandem trucks, not just the single trucks, but the tandem trucks. And the banging, and the banging, and the banging. Alright, I have a special needs son. Alright, people probably have no clue, but they get real upset, real agitated. And when that happens at 5:30 in the morning, and we got a son that gets up shaking and throwing up all over, to where we've had to change our carpets out a couple of times. You don't know, because you don't wake up at 5:30 every morning to that. And when I make mention of it, I get the Jake brakes in front of my house. In front of my house, they come fast enough that they can Jake brake down. I've got pictures of all the marks that start at one end of my property all the way up to the turn. I also have pictures of where they bring the tandem trucks not onto the road, off onto my ditch, run through my ditch and up over the end of my driveway. I have a horseshoe driveway, both sides, because that's where you get the optimum noise. Ba-boom, 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 at 5:30 in the morning. And it doesn't just happen then. This happens all day long. If there's any rezoning that gives even the remote chance that they're going to stay there longer past the all mined out time, I'm going to lose my mind. I bought a house there where it was nice and quiet. Nice and quiet, where my wife and I could raise our son and be out of town and be out of the noise. There's a gravel pit. Oh, that's a county gravel pit. They only use it to pick up dirt in the winter and
John,
sprinkle it on the road.
You have 3 minutes, and your 3 minutes are up.
Okay,
Thanks, John.
once again, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Timothy Hill.
My name's Timothy Edward Hill. I live at 3824 East Michigan Avenue. I've been a Leoni resident since '83 at the location. My first question to the board was, I was here at the behest of Ben Carroll's mom to help support Ben, but his project has not went in front of you yet. The questions I have is, if they bought the property legal, then why can't they live and build on their property if they're doing it in a legal and peaceful means? That was my first one. Second, I was going to test the Ben's quality. I've known Ben and his triplets, well, since I taught Josh how to hit a baseball when he was a teenager. And my wife and Cindy are girlfriends. And play cards and stuff with him, so I can attest to his quality. So if he's going to tell you one thing or another, it's going to be true. I don't understand why or who has the opposition against them to do what they want to do with the property or in the sequencing of it, but I just don't know if it's why. And that was why I was coming up here to ask the board if we can get some answers, but you haven't went through your agenda
Correct.
yet, so. Can I limit my time and come back later?
There will be a public hearing, so there will be another
Do I have to
opportunity to
fill-
speak on.
Okay,
You don't have to fill out nothing.
okay, I
If you'd
appreciate
like,
it.
set it up there, and we'll call you if you, or you can just raise your hand.
Well, I appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
Sir, I have a question. What was your name again?
Timothy Edward Hill, Timothy Hill. Edward is Edward, Hill, Hill.
Thanks.
Aye.
You want that there?
Thank you. Kelly Jordan.
Good evening. My name is Kelly Jordan. I live at 6490 Jordan Road in Jackson. It's a Henrietta address. I border right up to Leoni Township across the Portage River.
Can't hear.
I'm sorry. Is that loud enough?
You might need to pull it down just a little bit.
Good. Can you hear me?
Maybe back up just a little.
Hello.
There you go.
My name is Kelly Jordan. I live at 6490 Jordan Road in Jackson. It is a Henrietta Township address, but it butts right up to Leoni Township across the Portage River. I'm here today to testify for Ben and Ashley Carroll. I believe in them very strongly. I also work in Blackman Township and can attest to the fact of how difficult it can be to find a meeting space between Lansing and Ann Arbor. It's a real struggle. A lot of the time, if I'm setting up meetings or luncheons, I end up at Weber's because there is nothing in Jackson. Even with all of those new hotels built along the I-94 127 corridor out by West Avenue, there isn't a meeting space. There's one in the Holiday Inn off Airport Road. There is nowhere for corporations, businesses. We have lots of out-of-state people coming in. There's nowhere you can go for a luncheon. There's not a property like that that's easily accessible. So it's right off I-94. It's perfect. It'll bring business in. Good.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Cindy Norris.
I will hold till after Ashley and Ben.
Okay. Doug Scott.
Good evening. My name is Doug Scott. I am at 7400 Seymour Road in Leoni Township. I've been a resident of the township since about 1984. I've known Ben and Ashley, and I don't know if now is the time to even speak to this. If it's not, then.
As I said, you can speak now, or you'll
Sure.
have another opportunity if you'd
But
like
will
to.
the comments that we make tonight go further, or do we need to come back to the township meeting when they vote on the use of the property?
It never hurts to come back to, like I say, the Board of Trustees is the recommending, or
Okay.
excuse me, has the authority where they recommend.
Very good. I just would like to say that, you know, Leoni Township has brought in a number of businesses that had to fight through controversy. I even know the zoning for the sanctuary was done at some disgruntlement of local area people. But at least in my view, at this point, I believe all of that has settled in, and most of the residents in the neighborhood accept the sanctuary for what it is, a residential area that has been developed. There are other businesses in the community that are probably more questionable than the venue that Ashley and Ben would like to put out on Whipple Road. I think it would be to the township's interest to have a business like this that can cater to events, whether they're business events or weddings or whatever it might be, to bring revenue into the community, into the township, and create a little bigger tax base, because I think that is one of the reasons we've even let some of these questionable businesses develop here, is to increase the tax base. So I just would like to speak on their behalf. I think it's an admirable project. I think they're young people who are really interested in the community. Both are lifelong residents of Leoni Township, born and raised. And I think they're trying to invest back in the township and in the community and the county and for the people in the area. I would like to just kind of comment on the first gentleman's position on the quarry that's out there. I don't know if it's possible to put in some kind of an ordinance that would create some protection for him. I think that that's a reasonable thing to do, to come up with something that might help him in his situation. If his son is autistic, I absolutely understand how noises that early could, and especially if it's shaking the house or causing those kinds of things, would upset an autistic child. I think you can get information on that as well to verify that that is a very touchy condition to have when noises and loud noises and banging occur. But if this board or if the township could come up with some ordinance to try to remove the likelihood that those noises are going to occur and the banging at 5:30 in the morning, I think that would be a gesture that would be well intended, not only for the credibility of the township, but for also the residents in the area. Thank you.
Thank you. This one is written out, not Janice, is it Puckett? It looks like that.
How about the address?
6851 Seymour. It could be James.
Oh, it is.
It's a better signature than mine, but I still can't read it.
Well, I'd like to speak on the,
If you could tell us your name and where in your,
James Pickett, 6851 Seymour Road. I've been a resident there for 44 years. I'd like to speak on the subject of truck traffic for Danny Hammond. I think it's a blessing. And the reason that is, there's a 4-year-old girl that lives right across the street. Traffic speeds down through there like crazy. It's very dangerous. It's nothing but an old stagecoach trail. And people does not respect them whatsoever. There's been accidents there. A 2-year-old boy got killed, or 2 years ago, a boy got killed right there in front of Danny Hammond's place. So I think, in regards, I don't know what the beef is. I don't care, but I think what he's doing, he's building his property up. He's maintaining it to the best he can, and I think it's a good thing. Thank you.
thank you. John Scott,
I gotta go.
Until the time Ashley.
all right. Jason Allison,
I like to hold your business.
is there any other public comment? Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, I didn't give you guys my
That's okay.
sheet.
You can always fill it out and hand it to us when you're done, or hand it to us now. Sure. Thank you.
My name is Celia Strasser. I live at 3600 Reed Road in Clark Lake. I am here to speak on behalf of Ben and Ashley Carroll regarding the rezoning for agricultural use.
Good. Everybody here? Just making sure.
My husband and I have known the Carrolls for about 10 years and cannot think of a better family to have a business in the wedding and event industry. Ashley's parents, Ben's in-laws, have had a successful family-owned business in the Jackson area for a very long time, and have taught both of them how to properly and successfully run an organization. The Carrolls are a very close-knit family and would do anything for each other and anyone else that needed it. My husband and I recently got married back in October, and I can tell you with firsthand experience, the struggles of finding a venue in the local area that's cost efficient, could accommodate us and our guests, visually meet our standards, and fit with our rustic and farmhouse theme. It was extremely difficult. Currently, that venue does not exist in Jackson County. We ended up having our wedding outside on my husband's parents' property because we could not find anything locally that met our standards and our needs. Had the Carrolls venue been available, we would have had it there in a heartbeat, no questions asked. This will be a beautiful barn that will cater to couples with high-end tastes but still have the small-town farm life feel. This is an opportunity for event guests from around the state and beyond to be exposed to Jackson County and Leoni Township and all of the great things this area has to offer. The wedding industry itself is worth $54 billion. Having this event location will bring new customers to existing businesses and boost the local economic standing. By not voting yes to approve this rezone, you will be missing out on Leoni Township of a $54 billion piece of the pie.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment? Is there any other public comment? Mike?
I don't have one.
I don't have it. I went through the whole stack. Did it get placed? Where did you place it?
Did you turn it in or?
But we have somebody that's ready.
He'll be just a second.
I'll fill it out. Fill it out 2 places. Fill it out. My name's Mike Mailer, 6076 Sanctuary Drive. I'm before you in response to the hearing this evening concerning the rezoning petition of Ben and Ashley Carroll for suburban residential to agricultural for a wedding venue. Of course, that would be a party venue also. This has changed significantly since the November 7th, 18th unofficial hearing, where petitioners would not divulge reasons for the rezoning request other than to build a home. It was known at that time that some of the members of the commission counseled the petitioners on an approach they could take. It was noted at that time that some members of the commission counseled the petitioners on an approach they could take through an option of applying for a conditional use permit. This was off the record, however. Though the hearing was postponed until this day, ever by some commissioners at the hearing of December 19th, attempted to force a vote on the petition that was totally out of order. Thankfully, clear minds stopped that effort. With that background, first I'd like to say the petition as written should not have to be acted on as rezoning to agricultural. That would allow this operation, which is a commercial operation, in clear violation of the agricultural zoning criteria. Under agriculture, aggregate mining is also allowed under section 4235(9)(a). There's no guarantee that this property, if rezoned to agricultural, will not be used in whole or in part for mining, which the residents along Whipple Road have suffered from Lester Brothers leasing road commission property at the Calls Pit for the last 9 years. We want no more of it. For this reason, I request that Billy Lester excuse himself from participating in this hearing for obvious conflict of interest issues.
I'm going to stop you on that one, Mike. Billy Lester has never been anything but above board on any of the proceedings we've ever done here. Lester Brothers has nothing to do with this rezone, so he will not be excluded from the vote.
I'm just stating the background.
I'm just
Now let's discuss
stating
portions
what's
of the master plan for Leoni Township that was developed for the commission in 2012, approved by Leoni Township Planning Commission and the Leoni Board of Trustees in December of 12. On page 24 of this document is a future land use map, number 1, that indicates the future use of the property will be zoned as open space. That is defined on 3 different pages. They all designate low-density residential, wetlands, and potentially community recreational use. Clearly not applicable to the petition rezoning. In a meeting I had with the township supervisor, Howard Lindenberry, on December 12th, 18, I inquired on the zoning designation in the master plan. He responded very straightforward that the future zoning under the master plan preempts any other petition to designate the property differently. He has since recanted that statement, indicating that the town, he went to Region 2 rep and indicated that the plan is not cast in stone. The interesting thing is you got a master plan. You've used that as a tool for making certain policies and certain decisions, and yet here, all of a sudden, you're not obligated to it. You just can't. You can't keep changing positions on that for the advantage of that.
Mike, you're at your 3 minutes right now. Thank you. Is there any other public comment?
Yeah.
Did you call out a,
I don't, but I can.
did you call one out?
You can fill it out later. Go ahead and speak.
My name's Dan Han. I live on 6119 Smith Road. I'm the one that got canceled for tonight, but I still want to speak on neighbors' behalfs that are still here that possibly can't be here to the next meeting. Me and my wife decided to put a huge addition on our house. If anybody didn't know where I live, that was a one-room schoolhouse. It was 885 square feet is all that house was. I actually have 2 neighbors that still are alive this day that went to school in that house. We decided to put a nice addition on that house, which it needed a long time ago. The Johnson family that I bought that from raised 4 kids in there, and I have no idea how they ever did it, because I have 2 and it's crazy. In the meantime, if anybody knew that, Richard Johnson had his own excavation company there for over probably 45 to 50 years. A lot of dirt has left that farm over the years. And bless Dick's heart for putting up with all the stuff he did over the years. I bulldozed the pits off after everybody left, and start farming it. I farm about 1,800 acres between Leoni Township, Summit Township, Grass Lake, Henrietta, you name it, we go everywhere. We decided that we were going to put that addition on and have a walkout basement towards that beautiful pond that Richard Johnson dug years ago. And there was a large hill next to that house, and that hill had to be removed. And the only way to do it was to get rid of it and eliminate it. So I had a company out of Milford, Michigan, which is Target Trucking. They come in there and they decided they would buy that hill from me, and it was the only way to get rid of it. I didn't want to move it, bulldoze it, none of that. I did that long enough. So they decided they would take it away from me. Okay, perfect. Didn't realize I was supposed to be starting a gravel pit, which the rumor started that I did, and I have not, in my opinion. I just am trying to extract sand away from my house, so my house has got a nice view down towards that pond. They got about probably 4 to 6 months left. They're going to dig out of that place, and the rest of it's going to be hauled off, and that's it. Just so everybody's clarified on that. They have a street sweeper there. They sweep the road off every single day when they're done. They clean that corner off. And as Jim Pickett said, it's a blessing these trucks go down Seymour Road, because that is nothing but a highway down there now since they resurfaced that road. About 4 months ago, a man came around that corner about 75 miles an hour and rolled his pickup right into my pond. So these trucks that are running down this road, and I'll be on behalf of Lester Brothers also, they drive their trucks 25 miles an hour down Whipple Road. I don't know nothing about the 530 stuff, but I'm in favor of what they do, and they're in favor of what I do. We're just benefiting the township. I have some neighbors here tonight that probably will not be able to make it to the next meeting, and they would probably like to speak. Some of them got here a little late. They might not have signed, but they will sign afterwards. And if they'd like to come up and speak on my behalf, I would like them to. And if they want to wait for the next meeting, then we're happy to do that. So, once again, I appreciate it. Thank you.
I got a small request for you. At the
Yes.
next meeting, can you bring a proposed topo, like a proposed topographical, like that would indicate where they're going to take the level to?
Well, the level's already been taken down to where it's going to go. Actually, I've had a couple people come out and I've already taken pictures of it, but I can actually take pictures of it.
So there's no work left to do?
Huh?
There's no work
Yes, they have some left to do. Yes.
It's on just a proposed grade level it's going to go to, so we'd have something to stick to say, see, to exactly what you said.
Okay.
Just bring something like
That's
that.
not a problem.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment? Is there any other public comment? Kim?
Kimberly Dean, 7402 Kane Road. I just have a few questions to the board in regards to agriculturally zoned properties. My understanding is that there have been no additions or deletions with the exception of marijuana facilities in agriculturally zoned properties in regards to districting. Is that true? When we talk about chapter 42 zoning, is that true?
That is true.
Okay. So in regards to event venues, as I read conditional uses and permitted uses, I'll say this again, I said it at the last planning commission meeting, event venues are not listed as a permitted use or a conditional use. In order to grant a conditional use permit for land for an event venue must be listed legally. This township already has litigation against it in regards to issuing a conditional use permit for a gun range. At what time does this board stop making recommendations for illegal uses that are not listed in chapter 42, which is the zoning ordinances for our township?